What is up, everyone? So I'm here today with the legendary Seth, and we're going to talk a little bit about both of our understanding of really how the masses are enslaved right now, including you at home, including even us, right? We still have to break out of that slavery programming every single day, as well as just looking ahead at the future, like why just making six figures a year won't cut it. Like, you got to really look at the top.
First step in solving any problem is recognizing there is no alternative.
While America's infrastructure
We fought for moral reasons. We stood up for what was right.
this nation will rise up.
So, Seth, thanks for being here, man. This is gonna be fun. What's your take on that? Like, right now, the idea that the masses are enslaved. What do you think about that?
Truer words haven't been spoken today. I mean, if you just look at the state of the world, we're in this conundrum because the masses are enslaved, because they're willing to basically accept anything the elite say, and the elite are basically the slave masters, and we're the slaves.
Hey, all right. Very charged words, Seth. I'm already very triggered and very bothered by this. I feel like I want to fact check you immediately. So please, what do you mean by enslavement, and what do you mean by the elite? Those are good words to look at.
Well, let's start with the more simple one first. The elite are the billionaires and really trillionaires of the world, because the real people with money, we don't really know their names. So Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos. This may be controversial, but yeah, these guys have money. But if someone has real money, like generational money, media is not talking about them. Yeah. So those are who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Like, I know a lot of people have recently been realizing BlackRock and Larry Fink, like the power of that corporation. But even that is like, they're the front runners. There's a phenomenal book by Thomas Hobbes called Leviathan. And in it, he exposes how, and this is like a old school book, I think it was in like the 1600s or something that it was written. And he's writing and saying that if there's ever like public outcry about a specific person or group of people, that's definitely not where the real power is. Right? And this is something that's common in any elite family. They read this book. But does the average person even know who Thomas Hobbes is? Much less have they ever heard the word Leviathan?
Definitely.
No. So yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about here. Because like one of the first guys, I don't know if you ever met him. I won't say his name on here just for confidentiality purposes. But this guy used to run a meetup here in the cities, and he explained how there's a group that he used to be married into, and it's called the Landed White Gentry. And gentry, if you don't know what that word means, it's basically the most powerful people in a society. And it's this group of like 13 families from Europe that run everything. So yeah, those are the ones running the show. Now, what should we do about that? Should we just blame them? That makes me feel better if I can blame someone.
What should we do about that? We need to first and foremost become educated, because if you're not aware of an issue, there's no hope in changing it. But then, second, we should tell all our friends and family, because someone's got to wake them up. Someone's got to give them the red pill. And then thirdly...
Hey, leave a comment if Seth reminds you of Morpheus, because I think he does.
Yes. Thirdly, we need to become independently wealthy and replace the elite class.
Love it. So simple. Why do you think this hasn't been done already?
Well, it's not easy to make $1 billion, first and foremost. Second of all, there's definitely a club or a group of people. The rich want to stay rich and they want to keep the poor poor. So they're going to help each other and they're not going to help us. So part of the solution then is to not become independently wealthy on your own, but to do it with a group of people, much like what we've built.
Yeah, spot on. Because if you're the individual who stands up and you're like, yeah, listen to me.
Off with ye head.
Yeah, that classic, right? I was listening to this really awesome interview the other day, and they were chatting. It was a guest on Joe Rogan. Oh, did I already get this video canceled just by saying the name, right? And one of his guests was talking about how in the future, food is going to be such a luxury. So like, this is, again, why Seth and I talk about this stuff all the time, is just 6 figures in the future ain't gonna cut it. Like, you're gonna be a enslaved broke person. Because one, with inflation, you're seeing that. But two, certain things are gonna become a luxury. It's gonna get worse before it gets better, such as food, even prisons and how law enforcement works. In richer, more affluent areas, it's gonna be like privatized security. And in impoverished areas, AI, things like that, drones, like drone policing, automated policing, that stuff is going to really take effect. And so it's going to become a very polarized, I mean, it's already very polarized, but the future is not a place where you want to be poor. Just be blunt. Because think of how limited your options are then, right? And here's the amazing thing is, you don't have to just accept being poor or even, being capped out in terms of your income. Like, Seth, what would you say to someone who's watching this who might not be at the level financially that they want to be at? How would you advise them to improve?
Get to the level you want to be at financially. We have a friend from Canada who, for lack of a better term, was stopped from coming here because he wasn't up to date with his vaccine, frankly. And I was just thinking, if he had a private jet, there would be nobody to stop him from getting on the plane or wearing the mask or even being vaccinated. So, but the average person isn't able to afford a private jet because it's like $10,000-$15,000 one way. So it's like, if you have the money, if you're a multimillionaire or a billionaire, of course you're going to take a private jet, and of course you're going to have access to it, and you're not going to need a mask. But if you're a pawn or a peasant or the lowest of the social class, and you have to fly on Delta, you're not going to be able to move about the country freely or do the kind of things you want without adhering to the rules set up by the ruling class. Yeah.
Well said. Yeah. And what's so great about the solutions that we're offering is you don't have to be super wealthy just to like learn and like change. Because in the past, it had always been, hey, you're either born into wealth, you got lucky. Some people got that American dream of work hard and you make the money, but on some level you have to compromise. And that's not replicatable. Otherwise everyone would be rich. But here's the cool thing is the tools we have, specifically TechnoTutor and like the DIP writing process, you can literally reprogram yourself. So on an unconscious level, you can hold on to money and keep growing the money, right? What have you noticed? Like, what's the biggest thing you've noticed from using TechnoTutor yourself?
Oh man, there's a lot. But the very first thing that comes to mind is a change in the way I communicate. Because I've been in direct sales my whole life, and I thought selling was about presenting and showing them why they need what I have. But now I realize through the use of TechnoTutor and some other tools that persuasion doesn't happen when I'm telling someone something. Persuasion happens when I'm asking skilled questions and getting them to tell themselves. And through the process of using TechnoTutor, I was able to essentially replace my habit of making statements and turn it into a habit of asking questions. So I literally just put the phrase in my TechnoTutor, I turn statements into questions. I ask more questions than statements. I am a question master. These type of things that I'm running through TechnoTutor enabled me to, on an unconscious level, virtually transform the way that I was used to communicating. And it came quickly and it came easily because every time I was in a social situation and I began making a statement, a little voice in my head would say, turn it into a question. And in the middle of my statement, I would just begin to rephrase it in a way that is a question rather than a statement. And two phenomena occurred. A, people had a lot more fun communicating with me and therefore were more easily persuaded. But B, and more surprising to myself, was communication became more fun. Because making statements is cool and all, but when you can figure out the person in front of you, when you look at it like a puzzle and you're wondering what questions can I ask to get this person to open up and become persuadable, it's just more fun for the person asking questions. So that's one of the biggest things that I saw right away.
Wow. And now Seth runs the #1 sales and persuasion meetup in our entire state. And we have, new people coming every single week, right? People coming from all around just to learn sales and persuasion from Seth. It's amazing. So yeah. And now guess what? Do you think Seth's going to have any issue in the future, right? Amassing even more money or building this whole empire out? I mean, he's already done it very well, but like as the future keeps going, right? And the economy's changing, right? Who knows what type of big events are going to happen in the world again? But guess what? If you know how to sell, you know how to communicate, and you have basic goods, services, and products you can provide people, you never have to worry about money ever again.
Right. Everyone's talking about automation, right? Automated McDonald's, automated self-driving cars, automated real estate agents and pilots.
Attorneys.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. One of the things I can promise you is not going to get automated is person-to-person selling. Well, at least not for this first wave. But yeah, person-to-person selling, because people like to buy. They don't want to be sold, right? So people need that personal connection when it comes to making a buying decision, because a robot's not going to be able to cater to their specific needs and their specific pain. So direct selling is a skill and a profession that, I don't really see I don't see becoming obsolete within the next few years. So what do you think, Mitch?
Yeah, I would agree. It's like the quickest way. There's a caveat to this, but I would see that mastering direct selling, it's like the quickest way to go from complete enslavement programming, which we all have. Everyone, even the elite of the world are enslaved, right? It's like, picture a slave owner in a plantation full of slaves. Is that slave owner even free, right? Or does every single night he have to worry, are these slaves going to revolt, right? That's literally Jeff Bezos. What if he's like, oh, wow, what if all my people stop working for me? So he's enslaved to his business too, right? So it's a whole mess that we're in. But my point is, direct selling gives you the power to create money and create real difference in people's lives. And so that's the quickest way to get from that enslavement into complete empowerment and then be part of this new elite class that we're also part of, right? And that we're continuing to create. So yeah, that's absolutely it. But here's the caveat is, if you're just going to try and learn sales, good luck. It ain't going to work, right? How much sales training and books and podcasts do we listen to? I mean,
Way too much,
right? But then you'll notice, like he was saying with TechnoTutor, he used it, and then it was like that voice in his head changed. It was like real time. Exact same thing happened to me, right? And that's why I've dominated in terms of the direct sales business that I run now, right? And that's why we've built such a huge team, is because we have mastered the stuff and we use the tool, specifically TechnoTutor, to change that programming. It's been phenomenal. So yeah, I guess all in all, man, what questions do you think would be good for the audience to ask themselves? From my perspective, one of them would be like, what the hell am I waiting for? That would be a good one. What do you think?
What's holding me back? Or what's the biggest challenge I'm having? Or who do I not want to face?
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, I'd say another one's like, what are the DNA blocks, right? Because you can think you have free will all you want. You can think you're totally sovereign and, I'm thinking my own thoughts, right? Guess what? You're 50% your mom, 50% your dad. And they're each 50% of each of their parents. So if your grandparents went through the Great Depression, for example, and had fear, that fear is literally held in your genetics. It's not rocket science, right? You can read 30 different books on emotions, and you'll realize emotions trapped in the body. So I would look at, 2, what are the DNA programs holding you back?
Is that called epigenetics?
Yeah, that's part of it. And just how emotion and trauma is held in the body. There's another book called like The Body Knows the Score, some on healing back pain. There's all of that, encapsulates it. So yeah, basically at the end of the day, right, whether you're willing to be honest or not, we all have enslavement programs still, right? And enslavement meaning just like stuff where you're not your fullest potential and you're letting someone else dictate what you're doing. But if you want to take that full responsibility, right, step up, just like Seth has done so well, just like I'm in the process of doing. Get to that top, right? Become a billionaire in terms of your effectiveness, your business, your ability to, have effect in the world. Reach out, right? Reach out to each of us. I'll put our Facebooks in the comments. We run a Discord group that both Seth and I run. And it's people like us, like this, talking all the time about cutting edge, right? What is the techniques that we're doing? What questions are we asking ourselves? How are we growing our business, right? What new business deals do we have? It's just phenomenal. So if you want access to that, it won't be free for long, but we will have the private Discord. You can join the link, click the link below and you can join. And till then, any final words of advice for the peeps?
It's not about the money you make. It's about the person you become. So we're talking about becoming billionaires, multimillionaires. Most people think it's about the money, but who do you have to become to make that $1 billion? A, and B, is your current programming congruent with that person you need to become? If not, well, you got some work to do.
Awesome. Thanks, Seth. All right, everyone. See you next time. What up, YouTube? All right, give me your next 90 seconds, and this is about to blow your freaking mind. So let's look at your life. Where do you want to be? Are you fully happy with where you're at, or is there a next level that you can get to and also stay at? Right? Because it's one thing to get to the next level, it's another thing to stay there. Now, how do you get there? Right? So let's look at these people that, society tends to idolize. You got Elon Musk, right? Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, give or take, Oprah, Drake, right? These people that we would say are at the top in terms of their effectiveness. Those people, right? They're also people, right? They got 2 eyes, 2 ears, a mouth, right? A body, a brain. What's the difference? Right? What's the difference between them and you? If they're at the top, they have billions of dollars, and you're over wherever you're at with however much money's in your bank account. What's the difference? Right? Is it just they're more intelligent or they got lucky? No. It's very simple. It's called programming. They are programmed for success, and they're programmed to be able to hold on to that success when you're at whatever level of programming you're at. Now, for those of you who are willing to be honest about this and then want to change that for real, guess what? We have a private Discord group that you can join for yourself. Now, there is a requirement. You hop in and you got to get on a call so we can see if you're real or not. But aside from that, there's an elite group of people that are getting to the top and staying at the top so we can use that influence to actually create a better world once and for all. So if you want to join, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Peace.